Hey guys, welcome to JPlays. I'm Iceman, and we are finally, when this actually lets me, what? Can't actually use my... Okay, well anyway, I'm sure that'll fix up in a sec. We are on to the Fallout New Vegas side of things. Now let me bring the volume down a bit. Yeah, so we are onto the Fallout New Vegas side of things. Now that we've finished the new California mod. So, I just wanted to touch on a couple of things before we go any further. I may have mentioned it at the start of the other one. I am a huge fan of Fallout New Vegas. To me, Fallout New Vegas was Obsidian showing Bethesda how to do a Fallout game. Considering many of the devs at Obsidian were the devs that helped make Fallout, well, in the teams that made Fallouts 1 and 2. They know Fallout. I mean, fair enough, not every time is it the best thing to bring old devs on. If you look at System Shock 3 that was in development, for example, or Ultima Underworld Ascension, or Underworld Ascension, you know, that fell apart, even though it was with the old devs. So not every time does it work, but this is a time when they came in and they absolutely shined. They made one of the best RPG games of all time, and as I said, in my opinion, the best Fallout game of all time. For me, Fallout 4 was such a huge, colossal disappointment. I lost a lot of faith with Bethesda after that. I mean, Fallout 3 in comparison was excellent. I mean, fair enough, it doesn't have the shades of grey that this game has, but it's a great game in its own right. It's just that, you know, everyone's very clear cut. You know who's a good guy and who's a bad guy. There isn't much shades of grey kind of stuff going on where you really don't know where someone lies. In Fallout New Vegas, though, everyone is a shades of grey. Well, Caesar's Legion is a bit more black, so to speak, in the white or black. In that they are, to me at least, I see them as complete straight up bad guys, but NCR definitely are not the good guys. But they're not bad guys either, they're just mixed. I mean, even Caesar's Legion, I mean, they got their reasons, but I don't agree with them, but yeah. What I love about this game, firstly, and all of this was missing from Fallout 4. In Fallout 4, you can't roleplay. Unless you play as a good guy, that's it. The only good thing in Fallout 4 was playing as in the Silver Shroud questline, where you got to play as a comic book character and put on the comic book outfit, and that was awesome. And the Far Harbor DLC wasn't too bad, but just that game was such a disappointment for me. You couldn't, like, you would have a conversation tree, and all the outcomes would lead to the same thing. Whereas if you look at this game, you have a conversation, and then based on your choices, that decides how it goes, and it can go many different ways. And choices have repercussions that have knock-on effects later on. That does not exist in Fallout 4. And they got rid of the skill tree. I mean, not skill tree, but the skills. You know, pumping points into skills and then getting better at things. In Fallout 4, you're just good at everything from the get-go. Well, I mean, you can put points into perks and then that makes it better. But I hated the perk system compared to what's in this game. In this, you had perks already. And you had the skill tree, and skills came into effect in conversations, where if you had perks, firstly perks come in, give you extra conversation choices. If you got enough in a particular skill, then that comes into it too, and you get skill choices, like extra conversation choices in dialogue. It also enables you to be able to do better at hacking, do better at lockpicking, be better at stealth, be better at weapons. It's speech, especially. Speech gives you an option at the end. You don't even have to fight the bad guy at the end. You can talk him out of it. You can't do that in Fallout 4. Not that I can remember, anyway. And yeah, it was that to me was just such a disappointment. Oh, the only as I said, Silver Shroud stuff, great. The only other really good thing about Fallout 4 was the ads they put out before it for the special, like for each letter of the word special. And then each one was a 1950s style cartoon ad. Those were fantastic. I loved that. But then, yeah, just the whole game, it just felt like a first-person shooter. They took out much of the RPG-ness that was throughout all of the games. You know, the top-downs are even more RPG than even 3 in this one. But just so much was missing. And then they pumped too much time into town building and, you know, Minecraft kind of stuff, and that doesn't belong in Fallout. And then after that they did Fallout 76, which is a multiplayer kind of thing, and that takes the whole point of Fallout out. You know, the point of Fallout is a single player story experience, and there wasn't very much in the way of story in that. It was all, they all wanted like a battle royale, and that doesn't belong in Fallout. Yeah, I've been playing the Fallout since the first one I played was Fallout 2. Then I played Tactics. Then I played 3. Then I went back and played 1. And then I played New Vegas. And then I played 4. I'm never going to play Fallout 76. And to be honest, I did play Fallout Shelter. I didn't mind that. That wasn't too bad. But yeah, I think I'm done with Bethesda versions of Fallout because they don't know Fallout. Like if you look at what Obsidian did after, like more recently, they did what was it? Something wild. The Outer Worlds. And even that was more Fallout than Fallout 76. Anyway, I could go on for ages. But that's my opinion. I'm a passionate Fallout person, but I'm not of Bethesda's Fallout. At least not from 4 onwards. You know? One of the things in 4 that pissed me off the most, the first time you find a suit of power armor, you're able to put it on and use it no problem. You don't need no training and nothing. In all the Fallout games prior, 1, 2, 3, and I think this one, I'm pretty sure on this one too, you need training before you can even put it on. In those ones you just find it, you put it on and you know how to use it. Yeah. And the Brotherhood of Steel was just nothing like how they are in the other games. You know, they're isolationist. They're all technology hoarders. I mean, fair enough, in Fallout 3 they're more straight up good guys. And I don't know, they're shades of grey too. So if you look at how they are in 1 and 2, and in this one, they're much more shades of grey. That's how they should be. You know, everyone has their motivations, and sometimes they correspond, and then other times they go away from. And so then you have conflict. That's Fallout. War never changes. Because people have different opinions. Therefore they clash. We don't agree on everything. Anyway, I'm going to shut up and get on with it. But I just wanted to say that before we get into the New Vegas side of things. As I mentioned at the end of the last video, at some point we will get onto Autumn Leaves, which is an excellent fan-made little vault section. But that extension of gameplay will probably fit in like 1 or 2 videos. It's very quick compared to, you know, New California, which took up, according to, I'm sorry if there's echoes here. Just checking how many videos I've done to this point. I think I've done 16. Yeah, 16. So it took 16 videos, each of them going about 1 to 2 hours, before I got through all of New California. Autumn Leaves is probably about, I don't know, maybe 2-3 hours of content or something. It's pretty good though. It's good. There's very little. There's not very much combat. It's much more dialogue and puzzle type stuff. It's very, very different, but it's great in its own way. And I make it part of every playthrough that I do of New Vegas, and now New California will be part of every one I do. There's another mod in development, Fallout the Frontier. I think it's either the Frontier or just Fallout Frontier. That's going to be for New Vegas as well. I'm really hoping they link it in with this, like with New Vegas, and you don't have to, and it's not a choice of start. You can link it in. You know, I want to have New California as the start, then link into this, and then maybe have the Frontier as after the end of this. You know, after the end of New Vegas. That'd be great. Then this would all intersect, and this would make for a gargantuan gameplay experience. You know, hundreds of hours of single player content. Wow, this makes my mind boggle. Anyway, I'm gonna shut up and get on with it. And I hope that we can use our Pip-Boy in a minute.
Here, these are yours. Was all you had on you when you was brought in. I hope you don't mind, but I gave the note a look. I thought it might help me find a next of kin. But it was just something about a platinum chip. Well, if you're heading back out there, you ought to have this. They call it a Pip-Boy. I grew up in one of them vaults they made before the war. We all got one. Ain't much use to be now, but you might want such a thing after what you've been through. I know what it's like having something taken from you. And put this on too, so the locals don't pick on you for lacking modesty. Never was much my style anyway. Don't mention it. It's what I'm here for. You should talk to Sunny Smiles before you leave town. She can help you learn to fend for yourself in the desert. She'll likely be at the saloon. I reckon some of the other folks at the saloon might be able to help you out too. And the metal fella, Victor, who pulled you out of your grave. Anyway, you ever get hurt out there, you come right back. I'll fix you up. But try not to get killed anymore.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you. First thing I'm wondering is, do I still have all the same items? No. Oh! I lost all those items. That's a shame. Oh, that's alright. Not the end of the universe. I guess it means you're not overpowered when you get to this part, so... One thing I want to check. Towards the end of the last one, I remember it mentioning that I got a Wolverine type perk. Oh, is it gone now? Oh, the way. There we go. Okay, just dialogue stuff. Thank you. It's a shame I lost all my stuff. I had some good weapons. Some of which I had never even seen in the game before.
I expect you'll be wanting to go outside after being cooped up for so long, but if you have any questions, I'll answer what I can. Of course. You've been through a lot. Ain't much, but these'll do you right if the pain flares up.
Thank you.
Of course. You've been through a lot. Ain't much, but these'll do you right if the pain flares up.
Thank you.
Well, I already told you I came from a vault. After that, I was a traveling doctor for a spell. It seemed like a good idea at the time. Most folks out here ain't educated, so people with medical know-how are hard to come by. I found that I could help a lot of people with what I knew, and that was all right with me. Eventually, I went back and married my childhood sweetheart, and that was the end of my traveling days. Didn't miss it none then. Still don't. This here's Goodsprings, named after the water we got here, just down the road to the southeast. Goodsprings Source, they call it. It's a quiet town, and that's how we like it. We don't go looking for trouble, though occasionally it sees fit to come looking for us. That'd be Victor. Curious fella. He's sort of odd, and I don't just mean 'cause he's a robot. I couldn't tell you much about him. He's real friendly, don't get me wrong. You just get the sense that ain't the whole picture. Just a feeling. He keeps to himself, mostly. You want to know more about him, you'll have to ask him yourself. He has a shack on the southern edge of town. I didn't see him or the men with him. You might ask around town, though. Could be someone saw which way they was headed. Your best bet would probably be Trudy, the bartender at the saloon up the road. If anyone saw anything, she'd know about it. Well, there's a general store just up the road, run by a fella named Chet. He don't got nothing fancy, but he's got your basics covered. If you're looking to wet your whistle, just past Chet's is the Prospector Saloon. The bartender there, Trudy, knows everyone in town. Other than that, there's not much to see. Just people trying to scratch out a living. Well, ain't we all, right? That was a long time ago. I don't pay it much mind anymore. You take care now.
You too, mate. Alright, to continue on.
Howdy, partner. Might I say you're looking fit as a fiddle? Don't mention it. I'm always ready to lend a helping hand to a stranger in need. I was out for a stroll that night when I heard the commotion up the old bone orchard. Saw what looked like a bunch of bad eggs, so I laid low. Once they had run off, I dug you up to see if you were still kicking. Turns out you were. So I hauled you off to the dock right quick. Can't say that I'm familiar with the rascals. Some of the fine folks in town might be able to help you out with that. I moseyed into town, 10, 15 years ago. Before that, I can't quite seem to recall. Odd. Anyway, it's a right peaceful town, and I reckon it's as fine a place to settle as any. I'm a Securitron. Robco Security Model 2060B. If you ever see any of my brothers, tell them Victor says howdy. Happy trails!
One. One thing I love with the main campaign in this game and in Fallout 3, and it's much like Skyrim as well. It just drops you into the world, and there is a main quest line that you can follow. But if you want, you can just wander off and do your own thing for a very long chunk of time. In New California, you can't do that because there's much more. You're following a very linear kind of path. You can explore, but there ain't much to go and check out. At least not that I found, anyway. In this, though, there is heaps and heaps, and that's what I'm going to be doing mostly for a long time. But we'll come across main stuff along the way. Goodsprings, so I'll mainly stick to what I have to, but we'll see. I never even noticed that before.
Howdy. You must be the one Doc Mitchell was patching up. The way I heard it, I didn't think you'd be walking out of that office. I've got plenty of supplies for sale. Even got some weapon mods and special ammo. Well worth the caps if you ask me. If you're hurting for caps, I've also got boxes of surplus ammo in the miscellaneous section. They're not great, but you get what you pay for. It's all about quantity over quality. Trouble is, you'll be cleaning and fixing your gun a lot more than usual when you use those kind of bullets. Weapon mods are things like silencers, scopes, bigger magazines. Special ammo includes things like armor-piercing bullets, which don't hurt the target as much, but let you punch through armor easier. There's also hollow-point bullets, which have the opposite effect. You can kill unarmored targets easier, but they don't do shit against armor. The leader was a New Vegas type. Typical city boy. He had a bunch of Great Khans with him, probably hired guns. The Great Khans normally stay in their own territory way up northwest, on account of them being enemies with the NCR. Twice. Both times I drank a lot of liquor and lost most of my caps at the card tables. In that order, now that I think about it. If you ever get to New Vegas, be sure to visit Gomorrah. It's the best casino in the city. You won't regret it. Word of advice, behave. Between the NCR military police and Mr. House's robots, you don't want to be causing trouble on the Strip. I'm afraid I don't know much myself. Mr. House has got his own casino, Lucky 38, but nobody goes in or out except his robots. The other casinos follow Mr. House's rules, so I guess that makes him the leader of New Vegas. As far as I know, nobody's ever laid eyes on the guy. I think that robot who pulled you out of the dirt belongs to Mr. House. If Mr. House is looking after you, it's gotta be a good thing, right? They're tough sons of bitches. Mean, but not crazy. They'll leave you alone unless you got something they want. The Great Khans deal in illegal chems. There's a good chance that most chems you come across were made by Great Khans. Can do.
That's why I grabbed all the cigarettes.
Thanks.
As much as I'd like to keep hearing the music, I don't want to be setting off any copyright things with YouTube. Before I go over there, let's explore around a bit more. Hey. Grr. For many, this building was their first bit of combat. Ah, cool. Might have lost karma, but it's worth it. Let's go sell some stuff and get some more money and ammo.
You looking to buy some supplies? Can do. Another satisfied customer. Take it easy now.
One moment, be right back. I am back. Recording. Alright, back to the saloon.
Hey. Howdy. What can Easy Pete do for you? The one in the fancy suit seemed to be calling the shots. That's as much as I know. Other folks in town might know more. Word of advice, though. If you ever catch up with him, watch out. The man's got cold eyes like a snake. Can't be trusted, I'd say. Was a prospector until I decided to settle here to get away from the NCR. Now, we'll just take it easy and help out with the Brahmin and Bighorners. Nah. Means I poke through old buildings looking for working tech and such. Some folks just call it salvaging, but never liked the term. Way I see it, salvage means it's broken, near worthless. Me, I look for the good stuff. Guns, chems, spare parts. Good money in it.
Mm-hmm.
Nope. Had a pretty good claim once, way out east by the river, but got run off by raiders. Eventually got too old to keep going out. Don't get me wrong, the NCR's got a lot of decent folk in it. It's just that they make you part of them whether you like it or not. Towns like Goodsprings and Prim don't stay independent for long. Not if you've got something the NCR wants. Still, the NCR keeps the Legion away. They're slavers, led by a guy named Caesar, or Caesar. Not sure how you're supposed to say it. A couple of years ago, they tried to take over Hoover Dam, but the NCR beat them back. The NCR didn't or couldn't finish the job, though. The Legion's got its strength back and is getting ready for another round at the dam. My money's still on the NCR winning, but you never know. We've been hearing stories about legionaries on the Nevada side of the river, so keep a gun handy. You don't want to get caught by them.
I've always pronounced it as Caesar.
The dam powers a lot of New Vegas, and then there's all that clean water lying in Lake Mead, too. Anybody who owns the dam owns the territory. Meat and hide, mostly. Can't put a pack on them. You just lay down until you take it off. Can find a bunch of wild ones high up in the hills, but gotta be careful around them. They can put up a decent fight if cornered. The machine? Harmless, no matter what Trudy says. She thinks it's hiding something, but I think it's just a broken down relic with no place to be. Keep your gun handy if you go poking around some of the abandoned places around here, like the schoolhouse. Critters move in there sometimes.
Already been there.
Cheyenne, stay. Don't worry, she won't bite unless I tell her to. Yeah, I guess there's a thing or two I could show you. Sounds like you need all the help you can get after what they done to you. Meet me outside, behind the saloon. Now, see the sarsaparilla bottles on the fence there?
Yep.
Take this and try to hit a couple of them. That's the right idea. Look down the sight. Try crouching down and staying still. It'll help your aim. Nice shot. Well, that's a start. But I don't reckon you came to me to learn to fight sarsaparilla bottles. Tell you what, I gotta go chase geckos away from our water supply anyway. Darn critters are attracted to it. Why don't you come along?
Sure.
Follow me. It's just down to the southeast a short ways.
Curious. That's where Autumn Leaves is.
Hear that up on the ridge behind me there?
Mm-hmm.
We got some geckos to clear out. Bunch of little monsters is what they are. Seems like Doc Mitchell treats more gecko bites than anything else. Let's see if we can get a little closer. If we move quietly, we can get the jump on them. More likely to hit something vital that way.
Sure.
Okay, you're on. Go give them hell.
Bye-bye.
See? You're getting the hang of it. There's 2 more wells that still need clearing. You want, you can come along. It'd be worth a few caps to me. Shouldn't take more than a couple minutes, especially with 2 of us. Come with me. Ah, hell's bells. There's not a day passes by I don't tell people not to come here by themselves. Some people, your word just isn't good enough for them. Then this happens. Well, it's a part of life out here. Best to accept it. But you did what you promised, staying out here with me. Here's my end of the deal. One more thing I wanted to show you. Thought I might teach you about living off the land and making useful things for yourself. Interested?
Sure.
Alright then. We'll need a couple ingredients to get started. Gonna want some xander root and a brock flower. Let me think now. I know I've seen brock flowers growing up at the graveyard, and I seem to remember there being xander root over by the schoolhouse. Bring those on back to me, and we'll get cooking.
You got it. Ah, the Brotherhood were here.
Hello there. It's good to see a friendly face. I almost took you for a raider, I did. Name's Malcolm. Malcolm Holmes. Don't suppose you'd care to trade. I'm missing a few essentials and... ah, screw this. Lying just ain't in my nature. I'll tell it to you straight. I've been following you for a good bit now. It started off innocently enough. I was traveling, as I often do, and happened to observe you picking up one of those blue star caps. You didn't show any reaction to it. So, I figured you didn't know what you'd gotten your hands on. There's an old wasteland legend that says somewhere out there is a fabulous treasure from before the war. Those caps with the blue star on them, the tale goes, are the key to that treasure. They're called sunset sarsaparilla stars. All over the place. The easiest place to find them is unopened bottles of sunset sarsaparilla. You'd think they'd all have been picked clean by now, but somehow, new bottles keep appearing in the machines. Some say it's old Festus that does it, hoping someone will finally collect enough caps to earn the treasure. Other than bottles, you'll just have to scavenge. You can find caps in the unlikeliest of places, and blue star caps are no exception. It's said that the treasure is guarded by a man named Festus, and he's the one who asked for the blue star caps. It's also said he's been around since the war, standing a lonely vigil, waiting for someone to come and take the treasure off his hands. That'll make him pretty damn old, but I've met a few people in my travels who claim they actually met him, and they weren't the lying type either. Nah, I gave it up years ago. Too dangerous. And even if I did still collect them, I'd tell you the same. There's people out there so mad with the idea of treasure that they'll attack strangers just on the suspicion that they have some of those caps. No one knows. Money, weapons, water. It is, or maybe was, something of value, and that's enough to get people motivated. No problem. If you do end up trying to collect more stars, watch out for a man named Alan Marks. He's killed several people for their stars already.
There's Brookflower. That noise in the background. There's very, very subtle whispering then. That noise was from Heretic. Hey. Do you hear that? That noise. Very, very subtle in the background. I've got the volume turned down a bit for the gameplay, but if you pump up the volume and then rewind, you'll hear it. There's an enemy in Heretic, these purple-robed guys. Yeah, there was a noise again.
me see what you got. Yeah, these'll do just fine. Just fine. Alright now. We're gonna be making something folks on the trail call healing powder. Go on over to that campfire now. Give it a try.
Sure.
Hey, that's not bad, see? All it takes to make a recipe is the right ingredients and the right know-how. Sometimes it won't be a campfire you need. Might need to do some work on your guns and ammo, maybe. Important thing to get is it's all the same idea. You just need to find the right place to set up shop. Workbench or reloading bench, whatever. Well, I hope that's enough to get you started. I'm heading back now. Hope I didn't miss anything good on the jukebox. Cheyenne would never forgive me. Hey, do me a favor. Trudy, she's the bartender up at the Prospector. Kind of the town mom. She likes to meet newcomers. She'd be cross with me if I didn't ask you to poke your head in and say hi.
Sure. Alright, well I'm gonna end this one there. Hope you guys have enjoyed watching this video. If you'd like to be notified about when I go about putting up my next video, which will likely be tomorrow sometime, be sure to subscribe on the YouTube side of things, or just keep watch on Twitter. Twitch. And then you'll see when that comes up. Alright guys, have a good one.